Welcome back. Across the country, cities and towns are running out of water, and they're bidding against their neighbors to keep the taps flowing. Coalinga, California is set to run out of water in less than 2 months. How is that even possible in America? And are they just the tip of the iceberg? Is there anything anyone can do about this? And what about the rest of us? Are there some lessons here? I'm joined by Coalinga City Council member Adkisson and Coalinga Schools Superintendent Lori Villanueva. Thank you both so much, and I'm so sorry that you're going through this. It's kind of jaw-dropping to read some of the accounts of what I'm seeing in your town. Adam, can you just get me to the point of how it ended up this way? It sort of seems like with only 2 months left to go, I figured I would have been telling this story a year ago.
Right. Yeah. So we got to go back to 2018 when we were allotted 10,000 acre-feet of water, and then last year we were allotted somewhere in the neighborhood of 4,400 acre-feet of water, and then this year they dropped us back down to 2,200 acre-feet of water. So in the last few years, we've lost 80% of our water from the USBR, and that's how we came to the point where we are today. So now we're about to run out of water, probably. As we're looking at our projections right now, we're about to run out of water in mid to late November.
I guess the question would be, then what? Literally, are your residents' taps going to stop flowing, or is there some workaround, as awful as it might be?
There is going to be a workaround. The USBR says if we keep taking water out of the canal, then we are stealing water. So we'd be stealing someone else's water. So what we have to do now is find a way to buy water from the private industry, and we have to find vendors, and at that point it's become very, very expensive. So right now we pay about $190 per acre foot of water. We're looking at being about 700 acre feet short this year, and per acre foot of water that we're going to have to buy from the open market is going to be around $1,800 per acre foot. So we're going from $190 per acre foot of water that we were paying before, and now we're going to go to about 1,800 acre feet of water that we're going to pay then. So we're going to go from what would usually we would have been paying $133,000 for that 700 acre feet of water. Now we're going to have to pay $1.3 million for that same amount of water that we would have normally paid $133,000 for.
And at 17,000 people, that's almost not doable unless you cut
doable,
every other
yes.
spot in the budget. So let me get you in here, Lori, because you're not just sort of the school superintendent, you're also a victim of this. I read that you have these concerns about the school turf is causing injuries with kids, and there's you who's lost part of your lung based to something I saw called valley fever, where the soil fungus gets whipped up by the winds, and that's what you all are breathing in. How many other people do you think have what you have?
Thousands of people have it, and it's really prevalent, especially among our local farm workers and people that work in the fields, because this is a fungus that's a natural part of the soils around here. So anytime the soils become agitated, either through drought, wind, agriculture, building, it gets in the air and people breathe it in. And it is a very serious problem.
So, I mean, if you're saying that many people have this, what's the solution there? Because I see that as even more of a crisis than the taps running dry in 2 months.
Absolutely. So some people get a cough and it goes away. Some people, like myself, it gets in your system and it eats away at your lung, and ended up having 2 surgeries. But part of the solution of living in an area like this is being able to have turf that covers the ground, keeps that dust from blowing around. And that's a main way to keep this in control. And so it's not just about having green lawns. It's about not having people breathe in the dust, the agricultural products and chemicals that are in the soil, and also not breathing in this fungus that is absolutely everywhere here.
Are the kids getting sick?
Kids do get sick, and as a matter of fact, I was part of something that Senator Caballero did to try to get information out to all doctors in the San Joaquin Valley, and so that they can recognize the signs and symptoms. And it's not only our area of California, but it's all over the Southwest, Texas, northern Mexico, Arizona, and it really is a problem, and it's getting worse with the drought. And every time we have construction or other things that move our soil, the cases go up.
I can imagine. So, Adam, a lot of times with all the drought stories that we're, hearing so often on the news these days. I hear about sort of the workarounds, the solutions being, desalination plants and maybe, reconfiguring how we live, more, dense living rather than subdivisions that use up lots of lawn and space and take up a lot of water. Are any of these solutions for you?
It's hard to say. It's a very complicated subject. That we need more water storage. Obviously, we haven't had any water storage built in many, many years. We have a water infrastructure that's built for around 20-something million people, and we're well over 30 million people now. We need desalination plants as well. It cost $1 billion to build a desalination plant, and we spent about $105 billion on a high-speed rail to nowhere. We could have had 105 desalination plants up and down the coast. I think, in my opinion, the answer is going to be to put the coastal cities on desalination plants and put the valley and the mountain communities on the aqueducts. And I think that's the best way to handle it, whether or not anyone takes up.
If that doesn't work, Lori, are some of the families in the school district saying they've had it and that they're going to just pack up and leave? Like, how many of the residents are leaving or deciding to leave or making plans to leave because they're just literally scared?
Well, I think there's some fear, but I think it's around work because we're a very highly agricultural community. And a lot of our families, that is their livelihood. And so you saw the pictures of all the trees down. If we don't have agriculture, we don't have workers. And when the workers leave to find that work in greener pastures, literally, that means our children, our community starts to break down because they move to where those jobs are. So I don't think we've seen, a mass exodus yet, but as this becomes more and more real, I believe we are going to start seeing drops in enrollment, drops in our city, and drops in the things that we're able to do in our area.
So, Adam, if I'm watching this TV, broadcast right now, and I'm in the state of Maine, or I'm in, North Dakota or South Carolina, do you have something to tell us? Is there something that the rest of the country needs to know about what you're going through? Are you the canary in the coal mine?
We certainly are out west. I mean, I don't know how bad it's going to be out east, but we certainly are out west, and we need a lot of help, not just from the state government, but we need a lot of help from the federal government. And I'd ask all those people to, write the president, write their senators, and write their congressmen to start working on these water projects that we desperately need in California in order for us to sustain the most basic need for life, and that is water. We need help. We need help from the governor, and we need help from the president. We can't afford to pay for this kind of water on the open market.
From Coalinga, California, Adam Adkisson and Lori Villanueva, thank you both for being on, and good luck to you. Keep us posted on the progress. Obviously, 2 months is like tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, it is. Right around the corner.
Appreciate you guys being on. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.